afraid of no ghosts.
What's going on, guys? Back at you with another addition to our Ghostbusters build. We are knocking these boxes out slowly, but getting through them very fast at the same time.
Yep.
Our build is coming together awesome so far. So far, if you've seen our other builds, this is what we have so far. We have
the bottom piece.
It's coming together. We have the bottom on the frame, the engine's on, everything is looking great. We also have, in our last build, part of the frame, the back piece right here, the battery box, so all of that. And I'm assuming soon that's going to be added on to the actual car itself. But now we have another box. And this is going to be a larger box. It's not too heavy, but it is larger.
Does it look like more metal?
This is going to be box 23. No, I don't know what box it is. It's going to be parts 23, 24, 25, and 26. So let's get into this box and see what we have. I'll let you do the work to open it up. Be careful with the knife. All right, good job. All right.
There you go.
I'll close it up for you. Don't worry, adult supervision. He's not going to hurt himself. Awesome.
Ooh.
So, right off the bat, on top, we have
a t-shirt.
We have a t-shirt. Looks like a Ecto 1 t-shirt. Let's see. This is...
Here you go.
Here's our shipping. So we have a Ghostbusters t-shirt. Extra large. Let's open this up and see.
I'm sad if it doesn't fit me.
Oh, that's cool. So it's a very soft t-shirt.
Oh, it is.
There we go. Ecto 1 t-shirt. And it has the Ghostbusters logo right there, of course. It has the Ecto 1
build
on there. And it's like a cutout, so it kind of shows the internals of the car. And the back is just black, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
I like that. I like that a lot. Again, another extra that we get with our build. So we'll set that off to the side.
Here you go.
And here's our shipping paperwork. So the extra large t-shirt, issues 23 through 26. And that is it. Awesome.
Yeah, it looks like we have small pieces.
Yeah, so we definitely have small pieces in this box. So, and it looks like some large pieces.
Yeah.
So this is 20, we need 23, 24.
Is that 23 and 24?
Nope,
25.
those are, so here is
Oh, this is
24.
a big
Wow.
piece.
So we do have some bigger pieces, which is fine. Another heavy piece. So this is going to be 23. Do that right there for a second. So this is 23. We have, it looks like another piece of the floor. And some Fender
Pieces?
Some Fender pieces? I don't know exactly what those are. So we'll set that right here. And then 24. Oh, we have the inner fender well pieces.
Oh, that's cool.
For the car. As well as, looks like a radiator, possibly. Because there's radiator fins right there. So these are the two pieces that we're going to do right now. I will set these right here.
And these two are the next video.
And then for the next video, we'll be tackling 25, which is a smaller piece, and 26, which is a few other pieces. Not sure exactly what those are, but we will be tackling those in the next video. Get our trusty instructions out. Okay, so issue 8. Issue 8, we are going to be working with stage 23, and it's going to be the rear chassis as well as the rear fender liners. So right here, rear chassis, rear fender liners, and then that's it. Also the rear shock absorbers. And then the next stage, stage 24, is going to be the upper front fender liners as well as the radiator.
That's cool.
Right here. All right, let's get into the behind the scenes facts about the movie and information. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Wild Bill. Bill Murray. Bill Murray, awesome actor. Funny, you know, he's in a lot of movies from, you know, my childhood. You know, just he was in, to name a few, he was in Caddyshack. He was also on SNL, just like most of the cast from this movie. And of course, he was in both Ghostbusters movies, as well as having a cameo in the all-female cast movie, and he's also going to be in the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie. So, Bill Murray, awesome actor, funny, very funny. Right here we have some behind the scenes photos of him on set. Him and Dan Aykroyd. Just those two together, they were hilarious, especially on Saturday Night Live. You know, watching the old Saturday Night Live specials with those two. Funny guys. A lot of information about him and the movie. Some more behind the scenes facts. Here we go. The different monsters. So this monster is the Bathtub Monster from 2. The ooze that came up and everything. That was creepy. So Ghostbusters 2 with the Bathtub Monster right there coming out. Shows you how they did it. They used clay, and then obviously they, you know, sculpted out the monster. Some of it was CGI. And then
That's creepy.
Oof, that is creepy. I don't remember this creature from the movie itself. There's that creature right there. That creature, I don't remember those creatures from the movie itself, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was just concepts that they thought they were going to use, but they decided not to. So yeah, that's, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's our behind the scenes facts from the movie, behind the scenes information. You know, I love that each instructions also gives you behind the scenes stuff and, you know, the making of the movie, because I like that kind of stuff. Now that we have that done, let's get into issue 23 of our Ghostbusters build. All right, guys, parts pack 23. So here we go. We have our parts. Definitely adding a lot more weight with our metal. And these are plastic, but that is fine. And then we have shock absorbers right here and another long piece. So let's look at our instructions right here. Starting off, it looks like we're going to be mounting our suspension, the shock absorbers to the bracket. So this piece right here and the actual shock absorbers itself. And they are going to be held down with hardware AP. Get this knocked out real quick. All right, there we go. Simple 2 screws. I did leave them a little loose so I can adjust these because I don't know exactly where they're going to go in the car yet. But have those in the bracket. So that piece is all done. Now we'll move on to the next step right here, and it's going to be attaching a shock absorber to the actual bracket itself. So we'll have this metal piece right here, and it's getting attached down at the bottom from the other side right here, and it's going to be held in with 2 JP screws. And then once that's done, we'll move on to the next piece.
Okay, guys, we got these screwed in, and we're on number 3 now.
All right, so we have this screwed in right here 2 screws, and they are screwed from the back, there and there. And then like he said, we are moving on to number 3, right here, fitting the fender liners. So we're putting the fender liners on the frame itself, and those are held on by 3 DM screws on both sides. We'll knock that out real quick. All right, guys, there we go. We have the 2 rear fender liners attached, 3 screws, both sides, looking awesome. And then on the opposite side, we have our 2 shock absorbers done. So now we'll move on to the next part, and we are attaching the frame, or the rear, to the rest of the body, and then underneath we are attaching the frame that we did last video onto that as well. So attaching this piece to the frame, it's going to be held on by LMs, and it looks like it's going to be 6 screws here. This is held on by a bunch of CM screws right here, and it looks like 10 screws right here holding this on, the frame together, and then we have our completed chassis built, and we'll knock this out right now. All right, guys, there we go. We have our rear plate attached to the actual car itself. Flipping this thing over, we have the frame all attached back here. So we have the frame attached to the remainder of the car, a bunch of screws, 12 screws all together in various spots. Now it is done, and that is it for parts pack 23. Now we will be moving on to parts pack 24. All right, moving on to stage 24. Here's our parts kit right here. Looks like fender wells, the inner fender lining, and the radiator. So moving on to this piece, we are fitting the left front fender liner right here, and it's attached by DM, and we'll actually knock out both sides of the fender liner right now, left and right. They're both held on by DM screws. Yep, we'll just knock out both sides right now and get those done. All right, guys, there we go. We have our 2 fender liners on our car, held down by 4 screws total. Now, I did initially say that it was just DM screws, but there are different screws right here in the back, so you got to pay attention whenever you're putting it together. It's calling for CM and NM screws in the back, but the front on both sides is going to be DM screws. So just pay attention to your actual instructions whenever you're putting it together, and you'll be fine. So now we are moving along to assembling the radiator, and it is going to be right here. And it is calling for 2 DP screws to hold the top part on. And then on the back itself, it's calling for 6 HP screws to put the full radiator together. And we'll get that going right now. All right, there we go. We have our radiator all done. Very cool.
That's really cool.
6 screws holding it together right here, and then 2 more on the inside holding the top piece on, as well as the radiator cap and the hose. And that is it. All for edition 24 of our Ghostbusters build. Now we will move on to 25. All right, guys. Next addition to our build, stage 25, horns and junction boxes. So starting off, here is our parts right here. Not a lot, wasn't too bad. And just Starting right here, we have assembling the radiator beams. So long piece right here, 2 short pieces, and it is held on by DM. Very easy. Knock that out real quick. So it'll be this piece right here, and it is all metal, and then 2 little plastic pieces. They will simply screw on right here, and we'll get this on and show you the finished product. All right, there we go. We have our 2 radiator beams attached, and very easy. 2 screws, one there and there, and there's little pins that hold that in. So that piece is done. Moving on, we are going right here to building the junction box, and looks very simple. Figure A, so you're using HP to hold that piece onto the bottom, and then you're attaching it to the beam itself with EM screws, and those are going right on the side. We'll knock that out real quick. These are the 2 pieces that you're going to be using right here. So you have this square and then this piece, and it has the same shape. Attaches just like that. There's a little pin that sits in there. Perfect. And then that is held on right here by HP. And then that's held on the frame itself by EM. There we go. We have the piece on right here, the junction box attached, 2 screws, looking just like that. Very, very simple. Next, we'll be moving along to fitting the walls. So the walls right here are attached, 1 on each side, and they're both attached by DM screws, 1 in each. Get this going right now. All right, there we go. We have the walls attached to the radiator support itself. 2 screws, both sides, total of 4 screws altogether. And that is done. Right there. Moving along, we have assembling and fitting the horns. So we have the horns right here. It's going to be 2 of them, and they are getting attached with HP. Several pieces right here that are in, so it's going to be this piece, and this piece down here, all getting attached and mounted. Okay, there we go. We have our horns assembled and attached to the radiator support itself. Looks good.
Yeah, it does.
Very, very easy. 2 screws holding the brackets on. The horns, 2 screws once you get the bracket attached to the actual horn itself. And it is attached and done.
Good.
Perfect. Moving along. Got this completed. We are now attaching the radiator. We are now attaching the radiator to the bracket itself, to the radiator support. And that is held on by a total of 4 screws, all DP screws. They're there, and there. Looking good.
It is looking good.
All right, there we go. Radiator is attached to the radiator mount. Looking good. 4 screws, 1 there, and there. And that is completed. And that means that everything else is done. We have 1 more hose to attach right here, and that goes to the generator itself, and then it is done. All right, guys, see if you could see this real quick from right here, and it just hangs there for now. Doesn't connect to anything as of yet, but that is all that we are doing for this edition. So now we are moving on to stage 26 of the build, starting with these parts. Set those right there. And we are now moving on to stage 26, fitting the control box to the radiator mount, it looks like. The radiator support right here. And these are parts. So we'll get this going right now and show you what it looks like. All right, so that's the pieces that you're going to be connecting right here, and they are both connected by DP screws, and then this section is getting attached to the radiator support by IP screws. And we'll get that on right now. All right, there we go. We have the control box attached right here, held in by 2 screws right on the back, and there's a little pin that goes in here that sets it, and you just line up the screws. That's done. So moving on, we have assembling the battery. The battery is going to be assembled right here and attached to the frame, the support right here, attaching the battery to the bracket itself, held on by DP, and then on the bracket itself, it's going to be 3 IP screws. And then that is it.
There we go, guys. So we screwed in these. Yeah, these 2.
3.
3.
So there's one there, and there, and that holds the battery onto the radiator bracket, or the radiator support itself. And it is done. The battery is installed on our radiator bracket or support. So now we can move on to the next part, which is fitting the oil reservoir. So we have a cap that goes on the actual reservoir itself, and there is going to be a screw at the very bottom, EP, that'll go up and hold the bracket on to the bottom. And then there's a bottom piece that covers, which is DP. And then that is going to be attached to the actual car by 2 screws, different sizes, and one's going to be DM and one is going to be EM. EM goes up front, DM in the back. And that is going to be it. All right, there we go. We have our oil reservoir on the actual car itself, 2 screws right there, and that is all for that. Next, we have right back here, we are fitting the radiator beam on the actual car. So the radiator support goes across, and it is held on by EM on the sides, as well as the 2 radiator hoses up top here, and EM on this side. And then down here, there is 1 hose that connects up to the actual box itself, and that will be it for this part. All right, guys, so going a little freehand with the camera. We have the radiator bracket, the support attached to the actual car itself, and that looks awesome. And then there is also a cable that runs down here up to the box right there, and that piece is done. So now that that piece is on, finished up everything here, moving on to the side. We are attaching the grounding the battery. So we have a positive and negative cable right here. that is attaching to the battery itself, and then also on the inner fender well right there. And then that is going to be it. So we'll get these cables on real quick and show you the end result. All right, guys, there we go. We have all the cables right here attached, and this is our end result right here going to this, and then this cable going down to the control box right here. And that is all for stage 26 and all for issue 8 of our Ecto build. So far so good. It's coming out great. All right, guys, there you go. We are done with issue 8 of our Ecto 1 build, parts 23, 24, 25, and 26. We got a lot done in this build, and it looks amazing so far.
Yes.
The sheer size of this thing is massive. And we have our radiator support in, the radiator, the battery. It looks so cool. And I'll tell you this right now, putting this radiator in and the supports was tricky. Trying to line up this screw right here to the actual radiator support, it's difficult. We had to use a thumbtack to kind of get it in the hole, line everything up, and then once it was in place, put the screw in. One side was pretty easy, the other side was hard. I would honestly say it was a little difficult. But other than that, I think it came out really, really well.
Yeah.
It looks good. The battery box itself looks good. That's attached. So, I mean, this thing weighs so much. Just holding it like this, it's amazing how much it weighs. It's a beast for sure. And I cannot wait to get into more on our next build. What do you think the overall size of this thing?
It's massive.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. Like, I knew it was going to be a big build and a big car, but man, the video, honestly, it does no justice to the size of this thing and how big it is. I can't wait to start seeing more of this go together. We still have a lot more boxes to get through. And yeah, hope you guys liked this video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you guys think of the build so far and how we're doing the videos. If you like with the 2 videos or the 4 videos. Typically, if there's not a lot of parts, we'll do the 4 videos. But if it's a lot of parts, we'll break it down further. That way the videos aren't too long. But I hope you guys liked this video. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. And we'll see you guys in our next Ecto 1 build. Bye.